Welcome to week 1 of the Core Strong at Home program. Okay, so for this video, you'll need some tubing, so a band with handles, a ball or a pillow, a strap or a little bit longer piece of tubing, and a little bit of a wider band or the tubing you can just tie in a circle around your legs. Okay, so this is phase 1, week 1 home program. So this is done in conjunction with the first week of the Core Strong program, doing it a few times a week. So you're gonna start by laying on your back and connecting to your breath and pelvic floor. So we'll take an inhale and try to visualize the pelvic floor descending down towards your feet. Diaphragm comes with it. And exhale, everything rising up towards your head. Take a breath in, feel the pelvic floor descend, breath out. Let's just take a few more. Really feel the belly, feel the pelvic floor. And then starting to get a little bit of mobility into the hips, you're going to straighten your left leg, bring the right knee in towards your chest, hug it towards your shoulder, flex the toes of your left foot back and take a few deep breaths. Just getting into the right hip. And then switching sides, so straightening the right leg, bending the left leg, pull it in towards your chest. On your inhales, try to hug the knee a little bit closer towards your left shoulders. And on your exhale, compress the hip a little bit more. Just enough to feel a stretch, not so much that there's a big pinching sensation into the left side. And then warming up the backs of the legs, you're going to take a strap or a band and you're going to hook it onto the bottom of the right foot, straighten the right leg up towards the ceiling. You can straighten the left leg or keep it bent, whatever feels better on your back. Take a few deep breaths, not forcing the stretch of the hamstring. So inhale, reach your heel up to the ceiling, and exhale, try to bring the leg a little bit closer towards you. Here you should feel a nice pull on the back of your leg, not a big stretch. And here we're still breathing. And then switching sides. Left heel up towards the ceiling. You can straighten the right leg or keep it bent. Again, whatever feels better on your back. And here stretching with your breath. So inhale, reach your heel up to the ceiling. Exhale, draw it a little bit towards you. Filling your belly here with the breath. And then removing the strap, we'll just get into the hip external rotators or the piriformis. So you're going to place your right outer ankle onto the left leg, flex the toes of your left foot back towards your knee, and then you can either stay here if you feel a pulling in your hips, or you can grab a hold of the left thigh or on top of the left knee, trying to keep the back of your neck nice and long. Keep pulling the toes of the right foot back and pushing the right knee away from you to get a little bit deeper into the hip. So this muscle here, its connective tissue goes into the pelvic floor. And taking a few deep breaths. And then switching sides. So outer left ankle onto the right thigh. Toes of the left foot are flexed back towards your knee. Grabbing behind the thigh or on top of the knee on the right side. Or leaving the right foot down on the ground. And then taking deep breaths into the belly. And then releasing that stretch and coming up into seated. Here we'll do a bit of a cat-cow just to warm up the spine. Hands and knees, so wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. You're going to inhale, draw your navel into your spine, press through your hands around into your upper back. And then inhale, lift your tailbone, lift your gaze, try to bring your shoulder blades together. Do 1. Rounding into cat. Exhaling into cow. Inhaling into cow. And then exhale, draw your navel in, rounding into your back. And then inhaling, lift your tailbone, lift your gaze. Then bring your big toes together, draw your knees out wide, then sit back into your hips for child's pose. We'll take a few breaths here. As you inhale, think about spreading your sitting bones nice and wide. And then as you exhale, sink a little bit deeper. Reaching your hands forward, feeling a stretch along the ribs underneath the armpits. Big breath into the base of the pelvis. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. And then coming back up, we're going to start to connect with the pelvic floor. So you're going to lay on your back. And here you can put your hands on your belly. So here, what you're feeling for is a little bit of a contraction of transverse abdominis. So we're going to do the front, middle, back exercise. So as you inhale, pelvic floor relaxes. And then as you exhale, you're going to think about lifting or raising up your urethra or where you would pee out of. And as you do that, you might feel a little bit of a tightening. Inhale, relax. Exhale, think about lifting or picking up a raising up your urethra. Inhale, relax. Exhale, we'll do one more here. Think about lifting or raising. And then inhale, relax. Moving to the middle, so around the vaginal opening. As you inhale, think about your pelvic floor lengthening. Then as you exhale, thinking about grabbing a ping pong ball from all sides and lifting it up towards your head. So a little bit of a bigger contraction, but still isolating parts of the pelvic floor. Inhale, relax. Exhale, think about lifting a ping pong ball. Inhale, relax. Exhale, think about lifting that ping pong ball up towards your head. And then inhale, relax. Take a few deep breaths. Reset, we're going to move to the back of the pelvic floor, so around the rectum. So as you inhale, relaxing your pelvic floor. And then as you exhale, you're going to think about grabbing a marble and lifting it up your rectum towards your head. So here you should feel the contraction more towards the back or towards the tailbone. Inhale, relax. Exhale, think about lifting that marble up your rectum. So the whole purpose of this exercise is start to wake up all parts of the pelvic floor. Inhale, relax, and then exhale one more time, lift. Not necessarily strengthening the pelvic floor here, just really thinking about awakening the front, middle, and back parts of it so that it can be used in all sorts of activity through our daily life. Okay, so there's the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor works with the transverse abdominis, which is the lower abdomen, and it runs across here. So here we're going to try to isolate this muscle. So you're going to place your hands on your hip bones, and you're just going to drop your fingers just to the inside. So this is the ASIS, or the anterior superior iliac spine. And what you're going to do, so we're going to contract as we exhale. So you're going to inhale, relax. As you exhale, gently draw your navel in and think about pulling your two front hip bones together. And then inhale, relax. Exhale, think about pulling your two front hip bones together. You should feel a gentle tightening. And here we're not contracting 100% like our max effort. You're going to contract about 50% of what you think you should be. So it's not a giant contraction. You can do 3 more. So inhale, relax. Exhale, think about bringing the two front hip bones together. You might feel the front of your pelvic floor lifting at the same time, and that's okay. Inhale, relax, and it's in fact good. Exhale, think about bringing your two front hip bones together. And then one more inhale. And then exhale. Okay, so coming back up, we're going to go onto your hands and knees. So this exercise here, bird dog, is to help wake up the muscles along the back, so the multifidus, which work with the pelvic floor and transverse abdominis. So as you inhale, you're going to relax just like the other exercises. And then as you exhale, you're going to lift opposite arm and leg. Here you should feel a little bit of tightening. Inhale, lower if that's too much. As you exhale, you can just do your leg. And then when you feel comfortable, you can add in your arms, so breaking it up into the arms and legs. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift opposite arm and leg. And then lower. Exhale, lift. And lower, taking a peek down if you're newly postpartum, even if you've had a baby and it's been a while, making sure there's no doming of the abdominal wall. So exhale, draw the navel in. Lifting opposite arm and leg, and then lower. And here we'll do 2 more on each side. And we're just moving with control, so you're not holding for a 5 count or anything. Just trying to wake up the muscles, trying to get them active so they can be used in other exercises. 1 more each side. And then back down. So part of the pelvic floor core strengthening is we're going to bring in some glute work. So we're going to do bridges in 2 or 3 different ways. So the first is just on your back. We're going to do 5 on each. As you exhale, hands by your side, lift your hips up, and then inhale, lower. Exhale, lift, pressing into the mat with your big toe. Inhale, lower, not lifting so high that you feel anything in your back. This should be quite comfortable in the spine. 3, 4, and then 5. So that's the first bridge, so with nothing. Second bridge, you're going to take a ball and you're going to place it between your knees. If you don't have a ball, you can use a pillow. So this time, as you exhale, you're going to squeeze your knees together and then lift your hips, pressing into the ground with your big toe for 1, 2, 3, trying to keep the back of the neck long, making sure there's a push or squeeze of the inner thighs. Again, it shouldn't be crazy aggressive. About maybe 60% of what you think would be your full effort. And there's 5. And then the third type of glute work we're going to do is with a band. So you can use one of these bands or a TheraBand that's just tied together. If you don't have a band, you can always press your hands to the outside of your legs. So here, arms by your side. As you exhale, you're going to press out against the band. Lift up and really try to keep the big toes on the mat as you do this. So getting a little bit more glute med as you're getting some hip extension, so into the glute max. So glute med is on the sides of the hips. They help keep the pelvis stable when you walk, when you stand, when you do pretty much anything with your feet on the ground. 4, and then 5. So adding in some glute strengthening, we are going to focus a little bit more on glute med. So you're going to lay on your side. And again, the purpose of this first week is just to fire up the muscles. So going into the front or anterior glute med, you're going to bend your knees. Ankles are about lined up with your hip. My arm is really long. I'd be able to touch my feet. You can place your hand by your side just for some stability. Pelvis stays forward. Ankles stay together. You're going to rotate your top leg up as high as you can without your pelvis lifting. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do 10 on each side. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and actually before switching sides, we're going to move into the back of the glute med, so the posterior glute med fibers. So here you're going to straighten your leg. You're going to turn your toes down. You're going to bring your leg a little bit behind that line, that straight line. Hand here, and you're going to lift your leg up. 2, 3, so you might feel a little bit more back here than the clamshell. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we'll just switch sides. So we'll start with clamshell, knees are bent, arm by your side, ankles together, and then as you lift the top leg up, the pelvis stays forward. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. You can gently draw your navel in as well. 9, 10, and then straightening the leg, turning the toes down, bringing the leg a little bit behind the line of your body and lifting up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? The next exercise is to start firing up the muscles around the shoulder blades, so adding some thoracic or scapular strength. So you're going to find a wall. Hands are shoulder distance, and the further you step out, the harder this becomes. You're going to gently draw your shoulder blades together, chin is tucked, and then you're just going to go into the wall for a push-up. You can gently draw your navel in, and think about gently lifting your pelvic floor up for 3, 4, 5, we'll do 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 2 stretches to finish off. So the first is a runner's lunge. So you're going to start kneeling. You can put a pillow or you can fold the mat over if it's a little bit hard on the knee. Step the right leg forward, gently draw your navel in and tuck your pelvis under just to keep a little bit of stability through your low back, and then lean in. We'll take just a few breaths here. You should feel a stretching along the front of the left leg, and it shouldn't be a really aggressive stretch here. We're just gently opening up the hips. And then just switching sides. Left leg comes forward, navel draws in, pelvis tucks. And trying to be as upright as possible. And then just leaning in here, feeling the stretch on the right front of the thigh. And again, just a gentle stretch, enough that you feel a little bit of pulling. And then the last stretch, you're going to come to a sitting position. Bring the soles of your feet together, sit up nice and tall. If you have a hard time sitting up, you can sit on a pillow or a block. And then just gently lean in, and we'll sit here for 3 big breaths, pressing the soles of your feet together to get an opening into your inner thighs. And that is it for week 1. If you, depending on your time, you can repeat this 1 to 3 times, depending on your availability.